Now's the time to be part of the team at Team Toyota. Step up to the plate with a winning lineup of new Toyota models like the new 4Runner, Grand Highlander, and the all-new 2026 RAV4. Or find something perfect for your game plan and your budget with over 300 certified used Toyotas available. And don't sweat a trip to the IL. Our service and collision centers will have you back in the game in no time. So slide into one of our 3 locations, Princeton, Langhorne, or Glen Mills, or take a swing online at teamtoyota.net. This is Phillies Talk, presented by Team Toyota. That is Sean Kane, the producer of Phillies pre- and post-game live. I am Spencer McKercher, digital producer here at NBC Sports Philadelphia. Happy Sunday morning, Sean Kane.
Happy Sunday morning, Spence.
Snow coming down.
Oh yeah, it's I'm glad to spend it with you though, as we prepare for this snowstorm.
That's exactly right, buddy.
Yeah.
We're here hanging out, looking forward to it. And really, we didn't plan on doing a podcast until later next week, but we kind of wanted to give everyone, or every listener and viewer, just a chance to sit down by their fire, drink some hot chocolate,
Sure.
Don't worry about shoveling, and enjoy us talking, and then enjoy a conversation with starting pitcher Jesús Luzardo. Honored to be joined by Jesús Luzardo. It was really cool. He has his charity golf outing coming up on Monday down in Florida. It's a really cool opportunity, and it was a great conversation.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, we touched on a lot of stuff. We talked about, obviously, the work he does with the Jesús Luzardo Family Foundation down in South Florida. So we get in all kinds of good stuff there, and we talk a lot of baseball with him. He reflects on his big 2025 career year, and he also answers the question, would he be open to a contract extension? He's going to be a free agent after this next season. So have there been any talks? Would he be open to staying? And then he gets into a bunch of other stuff, looking forward to the 2026 season. Some interesting comments on Andrew Painter, who he knows and has known very well.
Yep, that's what I was going to lead into, man. What great comments. And I think when you're listening to that conversation here in a second, those comments about Andrew Painter, if that doesn't fire you up as a Phillies fan, I don't know what does. So Jesús Luzardo really dove in to Andrew Painter and his future, and looking forward to a great 2026 season too. So without further ado, we're going to toss it over to the conversation with Jesús Luzardo before he gets ready for his charity golf outing. Then on the other side, we got some other news and notes that we'll reflect on as we head into next week. Welcome back to Phillies Talk, presented by Team Toyota, and we are honored to be joined by Phillies starting pitcher Jesús Luzardo. Jesús, man, it's always good to see you. First off, before we get started, just how's your offseason going so far? How you feeling getting ready for spring training 2026, and especially after coming off a great 2025?
Yeah, thank you guys for getting me on. And no, I'm looking forward to 2026. 2025 was great. Just, it was a roller coaster of a year at times, but I feel great body and, physically feels ready to go. And I'm looking forward to this upcoming season.
Cool, man. And before we really dive into baseball, I want to start with what you're doing really off the field. And this charity golf event coming up here on January 26th, what does it mean for you to see the Jesús Luzardo Foundation hosting its second annual charity golf classic and really growing it year over year?
Yeah, I think it's something really important for me and my family. It's something that I felt passionate about throughout my, career so far, is getting back into the community, especially the community that I'm playing in and the one I grew up in down here in South Florida. So, it means a lot to me. We're looking forward to it. Like you said, we have a couple different events this weekend that we're looking forward to, and we hope to every year, grow it and make it better.
Jesús, all the work you do with the golf tournament and your other events through your foundation, the Boys and Girls Club, they're involved. Other youth programs down in Florida are involved. How important is that aspect of it to kind of pay it forward to the youngsters coming up and to give them opportunities that they might not otherwise have?
Yeah, it's something. I think that's really what drives me and my foundation, is kind of giving back to the kids. Something that I was very thankful for growing up. I had the chance to have a couple of these kids camps like we do every year. Juan Pierre was there. Had Mike Lowell, guys that for me when I was young and Florida Marlins were big, and I was blessed to be able to be around those guys and look up to them and kind of get instruction from them, and that's something I still remember to this day. And I think that that's something that these kids could really take from us, and that's something that we all want to pay forward. I know a lot of the guys that I grew up with playing with or against, are able to make it out and help me out during these camps. So, we love to be able to give back to this community.
And dude, last year, so you raised $90,000, which is incredible. When you look at that number, what does that impact kind of represent to you personally then?
I mean, for me, it's obviously a blessing to be able to use my platform, to be able to give back, like I said. And, that number is obviously very impressive to me, especially after really being going for 1 year with our foundation. But we look forward to, making it more and more every year and just giving back as much as possible.
With the golf outing coming up Monday, A, will you play in that golf outing? And B, how much golf have you been playing during the offseason down there, if at all?
Yeah, golf's my thing. Unfortunately, I won't be. I may be fortunate. I won't be playing. I kind of go around and take a couple celeb shots here and there, but just kind of make my rounds. I want to make sure I talk to everyone, interact with everyone, make sure everyone's having a great time, and just tell them how thankful we are that everyone's coming out to support. And I haven't been playing as much golf as I'd like lately. Now I'm kind of getting ready for season, so I'm slowing it down. But early in the off season, I was getting a few rounds a week, so I was happy about that.
It's always good, especially down there in Florida, man, where the weather's been great. We're stuck up here in cold and soon to be snowy Philadelphia. But when you look back, especially at the golf tournament, right, and everything else that the foundation has really done, when did that mindset kind of hit you? Was it early in your career? Was it in high school? When did you kind of have this philanthropical mindset that came to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it started at an early age. My parents always kind of instilled that in me. Giving back, whether it was used equipment down to the Dominican Republic at times, or, whether it was clothes to people in need. But it was always something that I kind of saw my parents helping do as I grew up. So it was kind of just in the back of my mind. And as I grew in my career throughout, the minor leagues and in the big leagues, I started seeing, the platform that we have and the opportunity that we have to be able to give back to these kids and families, in need. And I think we're so blessed, and we're, honored to be able to live the life that we live. And even though a lot of us complain at times, I think that obviously we're extremely blessed. So being able to give back to families that are not as fortunate as us, I think is a no-brainer.
It's a great cause. And I just had one more golf thing for you. I was over at the ballpark late August. You guys that day before the game had a little golf wedge competition in center field to figure out the fantasy football draft order. And I remember you being a part of that. And I remember seeing you. I was up in the press box early that day. You were out there practicing for that. Like, you were taking that pretty seriously. In fact, I remember some guys saying, "What's Jesus doing? There's no practice and you're not allowed to practice." It was pretty funny. But I think Schwarber won that. But just take me through that day, what that was like for you. And the competition looked like it was pretty intense.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I was trying to, I always tell them I'm trying to get my reps in early, and it wasn't my fault they weren't practicing. But yeah, I was out there early swinging it, and Schwarber was on his hot streak. He couldn't do wrong. So the guy would put it to like 3 feet, and then I came in second. JT came in third, and after that, we kind of all leveled out. But it was big. It was for our fantasy football draft order. So I was taking it seriously. That was a lot of money on the line for us.
So you drafted second. How'd the team end up doing this year?
We actually took the 4th pick, even though we came in second. Me and my coach GM, and we were cruising to the semifinals, and then we lost it all. But we had a good run.
It's incredible.
Who ended up winning?
I think Wheeler did. He shot me a text as soon as he won. So he made sure to let me know.
There you go. Good for Zach, man. That's great. Dude, we'll take some time to reflect now, minus fantasy football, but even just 2025. I mentioned it at the top. It was such a big year for you, right? Career high in innings, wins, and strikeouts, and you stayed healthy pretty much throughout. When you look back at 2025, what are you most proud about in your first year with the Phillies?
I think the two things that really stand out to me is obviously the health and the innings, being able to go out and take the ball and, give us a chance every night to at least save the bullpen as much as possible. That's something that I really try to do and take pride in. And I think the second thing was being able to weather, the ups and the downs and kind of stay pretty even keel, that, understanding the it's a marathon, and you're not always going to be, on a high. So the highs can't get too high and the lows can't get too low. It's more of, I thought this year we did a really good job of that, just kind of staying even keel.
You had a great regular season, obviously, and you carried that over into October. I know you had a taste of the postseason with the Marlins and the A's, but to be able to go in there, you start game 2 with the DS against the Dodgers, you pitch great, and then you come back in game 4 and throw great out of the bullpen. Just that series obviously didn't go your guys' way, but just from your perspective, I mean, you were outstanding. And what was that like coming in, starting game 2, at being asked to pitch in relief in game 4? I mean, that's as high pressure stakes as it gets. How was that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that we all look forward to, and I was extremely excited to be able to take the ball on, the fourth game. I was trying to take it on game 3, um, but I mean, it was obviously tough. Like you said, the outcome was not what we wanted, and I thought that we had a great team and we had a great chance, but it's just the way baseball is. Sometimes it bounces your way, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, for me personally, I thought I felt really good, especially going into October. The body felt great, and the the pitches were exactly where I wanted to be for the most part. So, just looking forward to that this year. Hopefully we're able to repeat and do better.
And then when you look back too, I feel like Phillies fans really embraced you last season. When you look back, what was that kind of like competitively for you? Just feeling that energy at CBP and even on the road. What was that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible. It was something that I had never really felt, being able to say, every game that we come to this ballpark, whether it's, Wednesday during the day and it's raining, we're sold out. We got 44,000, and, or at night, or it doesn't matter who we're facing, at all times of the week, no matter the weather, we have the fans there. And that's something that you don't really have to motivate yourself for the game. It's just automatically there. You have that, that extra juice, which was great for us players. I think that, I think it's something that a lot of guys might take for granted. For me, coming from 2 places that we didn't necessarily get the most fans, per game, I think that it's something that stood out to me, and I loved it. So, like you said, even on the road, it felt like at times it was a home game for us, depending on where we were. And I think that that's something that really drives the players as well.
Jesus, you mentioned a couple questions ago about weathering the ups and downs. The first 2 months of last season, you were pitching as well as anybody in the National League, and then you had the start against the Brewers and the Blue Jays. And I remember you talking during that period, like you guys were kind of taking a look at some things. Were you tipping some things? And without giving away whatever you guys discovered, what was that process like for you to kind of get out of that funk and obviously, as you said, come out on the other side of it and kind of regain that form that you pitched so well down the stretch for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we looked at a lot of different things. I think we looked at, every possible thing that it could have been. And at the end of the day, I think we've tinkered some things here and there. And I think that obviously that helped a lot. But at the same time, for me, my belief is that when I stopped, trying to tinker as much and just kind of get back to that groove that I was in the first 10, a little easier said than done, but more of a mentality change as opposed to anything physical. Maybe it was a tip, maybe it wasn't at this point, who knows? But the changes that we made and the mentality switch that I made, when I was on the mound, I think that that's what kind of kicked it back into high gear.
Love it. Now, kind of shifting gears to this upcoming season. Have you been following along with some of the moves? Obviously, there's some subtractions, there's some additions, but have you been following along, and what are your thoughts on some of the additions and subtractions that the Phillies made this offseason?
Yeah, I've been, keeping up to date with us, and I'm very excited for 2026 and what's to come. And, we obviously get Schwarber and JT back, which is incredible for us. That's something, that we're all excited about. Those 2, rocks in our clubhouse that we love. And, sad to see Ranger leave, but, business is business at the end of the day. So, happy for him and the deal that he got. And, some additions that we've made, I think are incredible for us. And, the addition of Garcia is going to be amazing. And I'm just really looking forward to 2026. I think that we have, a great team, and, I have a positive outlook on, 2026 and what it can be.
You mentioned re-signing Kyle and JT, and JT specifically, there's been so much talk about his value and his worth, how important he is to the pitching staff, game planning, going over hitters, how you're going to attack different guys. And, a lot of fans will just look at his offensive numbers and look at, defensively, but the pitching staff and the planning, like you could speak to that better than anybody. What is it like working with him, and just what makes him so valuable in that regard, preparing for each game?
Yeah, I think JT is just the epitome of a pro. He really works, hard physically, preparing himself to be on the field. He doesn't want to take days off. He's as prepared as I've ever seen anyone be on a baseball field. All the homework he does, all the video he watches, no one forces him to do that. That's something that he's created a routine throughout his career, and that's why he's lasted so long and been as good as he is. And I think we're extremely lucky to have him. He stands out to me as, like I said, a pro's pro, and just the way he goes about his business, the way that he's obviously been around the league for a long time, so he knows certain things on certain guys that maybe the numbers don't say that, whether it might be an approach or whatever it might be. So like I said, I'm very happy to have him back personally, and I'm sure the rest of the team and pitching staff as well.
And speaking about coming back, obviously to start the season, Zach Wheeler will not be with you guys to start the season, but hopefully sometime in May, maybe June, maybe July. But have you talked to Zach? How's he feeling? If you have talked to him, and are you confident that he'll kind of bounce back to that form that we've seen Zach Wheeler and the fantasy football champion that he is, back to the form that he has been before?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't personally talked to him about, throwing wise and stuff. I kind of like to give him his space on that. We've talked a couple times. I think we were talking about earlier about fantasy football, and that's really the extent of our conversations, just us going back and forth on that. But he's been, I talked to him a little bit, and he had happy holidays, and he's feeling good from what I've heard and what I've read, and I'm excited for him because we're a better team when Zach Wheeler's with us.
And yourself personally, coming off that great year that we just discussed, was your first year in Philadelphia, and now this is kind of, you just agreed to a new one-year deal, but this is your last year, 26, before free agency, and I know there's been a lot of talk locally up here about, boy, the Phillies, that they would love to extend Jesus Luzardo, kind of keep him here long term. So I guess, one, have there been any talks about a contract extension, and how open would you be to signing something that keeps you here for years to come?
Yeah, there haven't been any conversations yet about that. I know things happen sometimes later on in spring or maybe throughout the year, who knows? But as of now, nothing. And I've never been one to shut the door on anything. I'm always willing to hear, and if the numbers are right and it works out for both sides, it'd be great. I love Philadelphia, and I love the team and the clubhouse and the organization. So, but again, I know my worth, so we'll see. Whatever happens.
And then, sorry, a few more questions here, Jesus, then too. Thanks for joining us again. Have you talked to Andrew Painter at all? We know that you have that relationship with him, kind of being two South Florida kids, and this is a huge opportunity for him to maybe step up into this rotation. Have you talked to him too at all, kind of gearing up for a potential huge 2026 season? And in your mind, what is kind of the ceiling that we could see Andrew Painter be as a starting pitcher here with the Philadelphia Phillies?
Yeah, I mean, I see him every day at the gym. We work out together. He looks great. I mean, he's 22 years old. He's 6'8", and I mean, he's incredible. So he's a unicorn, and I just love watching him work. I watch him throw his bullpens. The way he goes about his business in the gym. I think he's mature beyond his years, which is great to see. He's got his head on straight, which is no surprise to me. It's something I've seen from him since he was in high school. And but yeah, I mean, we have conversations. I'm looking forward to seeing him and sharing a clubhouse with him. Hopefully at some point throughout this year. And yeah, I'm really looking forward. I mean, there's the ceiling for him would obviously, for me, it was a Cy Young. Why sell yourself short? Cy Young, Rookie of the Year. He's got that type of talent, and I think a lot of people might have wrote him off after the last year. He had his struggles, but who doesn't, especially at such a young age, coming off Tommy John? That's something that people, you can't find in a stat book, but these things happen. And like I said, he's 22 years old, he's 6'8", and I mean, he's a stallion. So yeah, I'm excited for him.
That's awesome. People up here are going to love hearing that.
Yeah, they are.
We're excited to see him out there, and everybody's really looking forward to watching Andrew Painter with that Phillies uniform on. Question for you outside of baseball. Are you a University of Miami fan, football fan?
Yeah, I am a big one, unfortunately. But I was following their run pretty closely, and yeah, it was a heartbreaker there at the end. But they played well all year, so I was watching that game very anxiously.
Did you have any, not connection, but did you hear about Fernando Mendoza kind of growing up down there when he went to high school at Christopher Columbus?
I didn't personally. I know people that did, but also I mean, Christopher Columbus, that school is a powerhouse from baseball to basketball to football, whatever it might be. They got a lot of great athletes that have come out of there, and so it's a Miami powerhouse. So I once I knew he went there, I knew this kid might be legit.
Love it.
It was so cool to see how many baseball players, as you know, are down there in that South Florida rain. Everybody seemed like they were kind of rallying around the Miami football team during the last month or so. It was a pretty fun run.
Yeah, no, it was. I know, a lot of us here growing up, if you didn't come, I mean, people committed all over the place. There was some great baseball down here, but a lot of guys, were committed to play at the University of Miami. So even if we didn't go, I feel like, that'll always be my squad. I grew up rooting for them.
It's awesome. Jesus, we'll talk a little more when I'm down at spring training, but I'm a Gator fan, so we'll have to go back and forth there. But thanks for joining us again, man. We really appreciate it. Just for people listening who want to support the Jesus Luzardo Foundation and even learn more about the charity golf outing, where can they do that and where can they get involved?
Yeah, the Jesus Luzardo familyfoundation.com is my foundation's website, and you go on there, you can donate, kind of read through what our mission is, and that's giving back to the community, underserved families and children in the South Florida area and Philadelphia now, and a little bit all over the country, hopefully international soon. So but yeah, that would be great. We're looking forward to doing more things in the community, whether it's down here or up there, and finding ways to give back.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, man.
Thank you, Jesus. Good luck with the event. Hope it goes well. Thanks for your time. It's going to be an awesome couple of days for you and the foundation. So I hope everything goes well.
And then, dude, of course, when you get up here too, we'll have to hit some links up here at some point too.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to make sure I do that this year. So I'll be out there.
Sounds great, man. Good luck in 2026. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Spring training right around the corner. So escape the cold and come catch the Phillies in Clearwater with NBC Sports Philadelphia and Phillies Sports Trips. We're teaming up to bring fans the most unforgettable Phillies spring training experience yet. The trip includes Phillies game tickets, beachfront accommodations, round-trip travel, all-inclusive tailgates, and much more. Plus, appearances from Larry Boa, Charlie Manuel, and of course, NBC Sports Philadelphia's own Ben Davis. Book your trip today at phillysportstrips.com. Welcome back to Phillies Talk, presented by Team Toyota. Man, that was so much fun. That conversation was just great. And it was great to see Jesus kind of open up a little bit and get ready for a big 2026 season. We mentioned, the struggles that he had, and he talked about that as well. But the comments about Andrew Painter, the comments about Miami losing the national championship, great. There's so many good things, man.
Yeah, no, he was great. Yeah, the Painter stuff stood out to me. Just kind of the ceiling for this guy is Cy Young. What do you say? He's 22 years old. He's 6'8". He's a unicorn.
Unicorn.
And I remember when Jesus signed last offseason, he kind of talked about the fact that he trains with Painter in Florida. So obviously he sees him every day this offseason. They're down there training together again. And from all indications Painter looks great. He's healthy. He's ready to go. So that would be great for the Phillies, man. That would be exciting. And it was interesting to hear him talk about, there haven't really been any contract extension talks. He said maybe that happens a little later in the spring, but never rule anything out, but he knows his worth. So he's not going to take like a little discount. He wants to get paid fairly. So we'll see. I'm sure a lot of Phillies fans would like to see something get done here before the start of the season to try to keep him long term.
Deservingly so.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a remarkable 2026 season from Jesus Luzardo, which would hopefully lead to a contract extension. Looking forward to talking to him down in spring training too.
Yeah.
We got kind of some big news about spring training, dude.
Yeah. Some big news for the podcast.
For the podcast.
So you're going down there. You go down there every year, and it sounds like the wheels are in motion. I'm going to join you down there for a few days.
And that gets me so fired.
Yeah, it's been a while, Spence. I go back a little further than you with the company. I used to go down there every year. We would produce Daily News Live down there for the first week of spring training, so I would kind of honcho that and our other coverage. I was down there every year from 2010 to 14, but I haven't been back there since, man. We're talking 12 years.
It's crazy.
So hopefully I remember how to get down there and how to get to the stadium, but I could rely on you, certainly, to show me the way. But looking forward to it, man. It'll be fun to do some podcasts down there, do some interviews with the team down there, and hang out in Clearwater for a few days.
I cannot wait, man.
Yeah.
I've said it so many times. It's one of my favorite things. It's one of my favorite places in the entire world, not even the country, the entire world. You just get down there, and it's a fresh start on a new year. Not even for the baseball team, but for like myself personally too. It's it's incredible. And the only thing that stinks is the allergies, because they're already like fully kicked in and I'm cooked by the time like 2 or 3 days down there. But just the beach, the people down there are incredible. Everyone in the ballpark, everyone the restaurants and the bars. Everybody's just so happy.
Yeah.
It's a great time, man. So looking forward to that.
You're all business down there, right? You don't really go out and like have any beers or anything. Like you just go to the ballpark, get home early, get to sleep, and get up early in the morning. And
Pretty
go.
much,
Yeah,
right?
that's what
Maybe
I've
hit the
heard.
gym a little bit.
Yeah, right. Good.
Maybe dabble with a few beers.
Yeah, one or two maybe. Okay. Well,
Looking forward to seeing you scene down there. Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Drew.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing him here shortly. But
Good.
yeah, just kind of keep it casual. Wake up early in the morning and attack the day.
All
so
business. Yes.
if I have sunglasses on for way too long of the day, then my eyes hurt. Speaking of spring training, so the Phillies announced on Friday now. Some non-roster invitees to major league spring training camp.
Yep.
Some interesting names on here. They actually invited 5 different catchers: Renee Pinto, Mark Colasavary, Paul McIntosh, Caleb Ricketts. But Aiden Miller's there. Arun Escobar is there.
Yep.
Keaton Anthony, Christian Cairo, Carson DiMartini, who is really, if you are kind of that religious spring training viewer, especially the games, you know who Carson DiMartini is. He comes in and rakes towards the end of the game there. Brian Rincon, the shortstop, who I actually had conversations with a few years ago. Great kid. Looking forward to his future. And then obviously Justin Crawford, Brian De La Cruz,
who we've talked about in this podcast.
Winter League MVP.
Yep.
Dylan Campbell, Felix Reyes, and a name that gets me excited, Dante Nori.
Dante Nori, that is your guy. First round pick.
Big league camp. So looking forward to having conversations with those guys. Those guys are always really open to having conversations down there.
Yeah.
And kind of excited for some of those guys, including Aiden Miller and Dante Nori.
Definitely a chance for those young guys, man, to kind of go out there and make their mark playing with the big leaguers at big league camp. And obviously some of those guys have gotten a taste of that before in the spring, but there's different expectations now for a handful of the guys you just mentioned. Justin Crawford, first and foremost. Aiden Miller, I think, has every opportunity to contribute at the big league level at some point in the season. Obviously Andrew Painter, who we talked about with Jesus. So exciting. And then, there's going to be a handful of other guys who have a chance too. Brian De La Cruz strikes me as somebody that could have a big spring and maybe factor into their plans a little bit. But yeah, should be good. Should be fun. A lot of a good, young, promising talent down there trying to make their mark and maybe earn a spot on the club.
Looking forward to that. Other news and notes real quick. So obviously to make room on the 40-man when they re-signed JT Realmuto, the Phillies DFA'd Weston Wilson.
Right.
Which heartbreaks me.
Yep.
Breaks my heart. Whatever you want to say it.
Breaks you.
I love that guy, man. He was one of the nicest guys I've talked to. It was funny, a quick story about him. Last year in spring training, I had my AirPod in. I was on a call, and I guess I tried to put it back in the case, and then it fumbled away. I looked in my case, wasn't there, and I'm like, it's cooked. If you've been to spring training, you know how big that complex is.
Yeah.
3 hours later, I come back. Weston Wilson has it in my hand. He's handing it back to me.
Wow.
And I was like, how? He's like, I saw you literally drop it, and then I just haven't seen you since.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's crazy.
So he was the best, man.
Very cool.
So he actually gets picked up off waivers by the Baltimore Orioles. So hopefully an opportunity for Weston down there. They have a lot of depth, though, so I don't know big league-wise what Weston Wilson could do for the Baltimore Orioles. They obviously had a pretty busy offseason as well. So, but hopefully for the best for him, man. And maybe if they end up DFAing him, maybe we see him back here in red pinstripes.
Had some big moments for the Phillies, did Weston. Obviously hit for the cycle.
Dude, the cycle.
In 24. And then 24. Yeah, 24. And 25, he had that huge home run against the Dodgers in the game that they clinched the NL East.
Bingo.
They were trailing in that game early, and he hit a big home run later in the game to tie it up, I believe. So had his share of memorable moments. And like you said, going down to Baltimore now, just kind of got pinched out in a numbers game, it seems like, with the 40-man roster. But made his impact, and best of luck to him moving forward, as you said, and we'll see if he can, continue his big league career for the Orioles.
And he hit his first career home run.
Lorenzen game.
The Lorenzen no-hitter. And Nick hit his 200th.
A lot of going on.
Yeah,
I remember that game well.
A lot of good Weston Wilson memories. Another familiar name, Sir Anthony Dominguez to the Chicago White Sox.
Yes, sir.
So,
nice contract.
Good contract for Sir Anthony. And it's a good offseason for the Chicago White Sox, man. You include him, Sean Newcomb also joins that bullpen. Looking forward to Sir Anthony get an opportunity in Chicago, too. So he obviously had that big season last year with the Toronto Blue Jays about halfway through, signed with the Orioles before that. Or I guess he got traded, right, from the Phils.
Yes, he got traded from the Phillies to the Orioles. I don't know if he was in the Gregory Soto. That was a separate deal, I think, but I forget the exact nature of it. There were a couple trades of relievers down.
Was it for Hayes?
Could have been.
I think it might have been for Hayes.
Yeah, could have
I think it could have been for Hayes.
Could have been, yeah. Soto went down there in a separate deal. I think Seth Johnson came up in one deal from Baltimore. Maybe I'm confusing my Baltimore my trades from 2 years ago, but yes. But yeah, Sir Anthony, obviously had his moments here.
$10 million a year, man. 2 years for 20.
Good deal for him.
Good deal for him as well. And the last piece of news, so John Heyman also reported that Phillies could be looking to add a starting pitcher, Zach Allen. But we talked to Jesus Luzardo earlier in the pod. There's another starting pitcher that made news. Pizza Aaron
to the WBC.
Pitching for Team Italy.
Yeah, for Team Italy. That's
good for Aaron.
Good for Aaron. That'll be a neat experience for him. First time he's pitched in the WBC.
Yeah, really cool. Didn't know he was Italian.
No. Well, I think I was researched on a little earlier that I guess his grandparents on his father's side.
Okay.
Immigrated from Italy, I believe, to Baton Rouge.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
So good for him. I'll be the downer here. The pitching always concerns me in the WBC injury wise. I hope he goes and pitches great. Obviously, he's coming off a season where he dealt with a couple different injuries, so really need him to come out of that healthy and ready to go. We'll see if Chris Sanchez, he was in town earlier this week, says he would love to pitch for the Dominican Republic. Really hasn't talked with the Phillies about it, so it sounds like a couple other pitchers might be in it. So fingers crossed they have a great experience. And more so, they come back healthy, ready to pitch for the Phillies in 26.
I'm excited to talk to him about Team Italy. I'm going to do some Italian trivia for Aaron and see how well he knows his Italian trivia before he heads over to the World Baseball Classic.
Right.
All right, as we wrap up, it's snowing, man.
Snowing. Are you doing some shoveling?
I am shoveling. Shoveled before we got here.
You're a city guy, though. You can't have much to shovel.
Right. I mean, it's just kind of like a little crosswalk, but I love it, man. I love it so much.
I love shoveling, too.
It's one of my favorite things, just when the snow's coming down.
Yeah. I resist the snowblower.
Yeah,
my wife has tried to buy me a snowblower, and I said, no, I like going out and shoveling. You see the neighbors, everybody's out there shoveling. You galvanize the neighborhood.
Bingo.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
But I have a driveway and I'm out in the suburbs now. The city, that was one of the best things about living in the city is just kind of shovel your section of the sidewalk and you're done.
That's exactly it.
There's a little bit more to do out now, but I enjoy it. I do.
And I will very shortly, have a beer in my hand. And we're going to be watching football, get ready for 2 big AFC championship games, or AFC championship, NFC and AFC. Who do you got?
Man. Oh, man. I'm a Rams guy. I know that everybody's in on the Seahawks. The Seahawks are really good, but I think the Rams figured out a way to win that game. And then the first game, AFC, I'm not out on the Broncos either. I think the Broncos still have a chance, even with Jarrett Stidham. So I'm gonna go underdogs, man. I'm going Broncos and Rams.
I like it. I am not a Rams guy. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Matthew Stafford. I don't know if it's McVay. I just don't like them.
I'm not a fan.
No.
I'm a big McVay and Stafford. I think they're good. I think they're really good.
Yeah, I don't know. Some rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah.
I'll be cheering for the Seahawks. And if I was a betting man, that 4.5 for the Broncos, it's the easiest money you ever
I think I'm going to go that way, which means the Patriots are going to cover.
Correct.
But nonetheless.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you're enjoying your football. We have some beers to drink to hang out. Everyone, please stay safe. Especially with this weather. But hopefully you enjoyed the conversation with Jesus Luzardo. Just a quick little teaser, too. The interview, the one-on-one with Rob Thompson, will come out later this week as well. We talked about the World Baseball Classic, see if he still had that same mindset. There was so many good conversations with Rob Thompson. So that will be coming out later this week, so keep an eye out for that. But until then, stay safe, enjoy the snow, go make some brownies, make some cake. Are you going to make any brownies or anything?
My wife will probably make some hot chocolate and some different snacks for the boys.
Go.
A lot of snow time, so you come in, you want to get warmed up. It's great.
It's always the best.
Can't beat a snow day.
It really is, man. Get the sled out. I'll be trudging to some sort of bar if you're in Philly. I'll be around somewhere. So, for Sean Kane, I am Spencer McKercher. We will talk to you guys next week. Thanks for listening to the Phillies Talk podcast presented by Team Toyota. Thank you to Jesus Luzardo for joining us as well. We'll talk to you guys soon.